All right, in this video, I'm going to show you how you can quickly set up your ERPRev account if you buy and sell, either at retail level, wholesale level, or distributors, you're a distributor. So long as you buy and you add your margin and you sell, this video will show you how you can quickly set up your account. Every new account, we normally send an email to you that contains your like a welcome email after you have paid for your license. You receive an email that contains your access URL, your user ID, and your password. Now, in that email, just copy the access URL and open up any browser like Google Chrome, Firefox, Safari, any standard browser out there. Put the access URL here, just paste it here, just as I've done. Then it will take you to where you would enter your user ID and password. In the user ID field, put your user ID, one, then input your default password here, which is usually admin in small letters. Immediately, it will take you to where you are expected to change your password to something else. So you input your current password, which is admin, enter a new password using these instructions above. So let's change our password to something else. Remember, it must have capital letters, small letters, special characters, and numbers, and it should not be less than 8 characters. Okay, so I'll go ahead and submit. If you don't change your password, it's not going to allow you proceed to something else. So here you have your basic configuration. So you can set your preferred time zone here. You go ahead and set your time zone. You can set the preferred date formats. Then if you have multiple office location, you can enable the multi-location system. If you don't, then you don't need to enable it. Then multi-currency only works for those that are in the ultimate plan. If you want, you enable on then accrual accounting. Then you can enable this option of use additional items attributes so that you can categorize your products. Then you can enable or disable tax system depending. This is completely your preference. You can make it exclusive or inclusive. All right. There's option for withholding tax as well. Once you're done, click on next. Here, it will take you to where you can specify if you render services, if you use raw material, or if you buy and sell. In this particular video, since we are focusing on people that buy and sell, we're going to enable this option and disable this. So you might be wondering, why is rendered services enabled? In your organization, if you do deliveries, then it means you render services. That's why we enable the services option here. Then we buy and sell. Then we click on next. It will take you to where you can specify if mobile number should be compulsory, if email should be compulsory, if mobile number should be unique, if company name should be compulsory. If, for instance, you sell to direct end users, then you don't need to enable this option that says allow customers company name. But if you have some companies that buy from you, like B2C, then you can enable this option. All right. Then if you use barcode in your organization, you need to enable the use of barcode. If you don't, you disable it. And mind you, everything you do here, you can always go back and change the settings. So it's not cast in stone. Okay. So at this point, if, for example, you want your staff to always register the customers they want to sell to, then don't enable this option. But if you have a supermarket where most people don't provide their information, or a pharmacy, and you just sell to everyone, then you can enable this option that says show default registered customers during transaction. All right. So I'll go ahead and click on next. Then it takes you to where you can upload your logo. You can just click on this browse option here and select your logo from your local device. It should be in JPEG, .gif, or .png, and should not be shouldn't exceed 200 kilobytes in size. Once you're done, go ahead and click on Save / Submit. Now, that is the first step. The next thing you need to do, if you want to categorize your products, for example, you you own a fashion store where you sell shirts, trousers, suits, eyeglasses, caps, bags. You know, you might have different types of shoes, different types of bags, but you want to create a category for bags, a category for shoes. Then the first thing you need to do is to go over to items attributes and click on register category. Now, if you prefer to call it colors and size, then it's possible to change this label from category and class to whatever you want. So I'm just going to go ahead now and say shoes, and I'll submit. I'll select bags. You can go ahead and register as many categories as possible, but by default, there's a category register that is called NA by default. Okay, now we've done that. If we click on categories, we can fetch data to see the categories that we've registered already. You can do the same thing with the class. Maybe this class, you might choose to call it brand. Maybe you want to know the brand. Might choose to change this class to brand. It's possible to do that from general configuration. Administration general configuration, edit location specific preference. There's a tab there, the labels tab. Okay, you'd see the option to change it there. Okay, so once you're done, you submit, system will ask you to relog in. But I just want us to go straight to registering products. So here, the next thing I want us to do now is to register a product. So under product inventory, let me collapse this, go to product inventory. You see the option that says products. You can register your product one after the other, and it's also possible for you to mass import your product. Let's assume you have your product name, your cost price, selling price, unit of measurement, that's like pieces, cartons, packs, and all, the reorder level, the product category, and the product class. You can use this option that says product stock importation to mass import your information. There's a tutorial video that shows how to do this, all right, in the help center. However, in this video, we're going to register the product one after the other. So how did I get here? I went to product inventory, I clicked on product, and I clicked on register product, and it opened up this view for me. Here, I'll go ahead and put the name of the let's call it special shoe, right? Let me even say size 4, black. I'm just trying to be as descriptive as possible. Now, the next thing is system wants to know how is this item sold. Let's assume you sell it in pieces. If it's possible for a customer to come in and buy 10, maybe a dozen of this item, so I can tell the system here where you have add more units of measurement. I click here and tell the system that 12 pieces is equal to 1 dozen. I could even tell the system that, okay, 10 dozen is equal to maybe 1 carton or things like that. Let's see, let me just, okay. But here, the system wants to know what is the default cost price for 1 piece of this item. So, and it's asking me in pieces because the unit of measurement we put here is in pieces. Please, this is not where you put the quantity. This is where you put the unit of measurement. That's why you have these examples as in outlined here. You can see the examples here. Okay, so let's assume this item is 65,000. You can tell the system that, oh, maybe my markup is 30%. If you put 30 here, it will automatically help you calculate how much the selling price should be. You're also at liberty to just directly put what you want the selling price to be by clicking here and typing it in here. Okay. What this helps you do is every time you want to restock this item, if the prices have changed, once you impute a new cost price, it will calculate the new selling price markup that you've set here. The reorder level allows you to set the quantity that you want the system to take note of so that once your stock is below that level, the system will notify you. So let's assume we want, once we have 1 dozen. So once we have less than 12 units in stock, system will notify us. You can check if this item is taxable or not. This means it's taxable. This means it's not taxable. So you can put a description if you want. If the items have barcode, just click here. So long as the barcode option is enabled, scan the barcode on the item. So long as the barcode device is connected to the device you're using, it will read. Or if you're using a mobile device, you can click here and it would activate the camera on your device and you can use that as your barcode scanner. All right. So let's select the product category. So let's on this one, the shoes. You can select the class. Remember, it could be brand, it could be size, it could be color, whatever you want. Then if you have pictures, you can also upload the pictures, but it's not compulsory. I'll just go ahead and say create empty stock record and I'll submit. Now I've submitted this item, but if we try to go and sell now, we won't see this item there because we've not told the system the quantity we have available in stock. Okay, so how do we add the quantity available in stock? Still under product inventory, you go to product stock intake and register stock intake. Here, system would want to know the date this item was purchased. System would also want to know the supplier that supplied this item and the warehouse where you're receiving this item into, and you can put the invoice number of the company that supplied this item. For every new ERPRev account, there's a supplier with ID 1 by default, okay? And it's called Unanimous. Now, you're at liberty to add more suppliers. There's an option to add more suppliers. We have a tutorial video that shows you how you can register suppliers in ERPRev software. Now, I can go ahead and click here and quickly just register the supplier. But if you want to map this supplier to a ledger so that if you're looking at your balance sheets, in the area where you're supposed to see your payable, you see each supplier information there and their balances, then you would need to watch that video. Okay, now for this example, we are going to use the supplier called Anonymous. Okay, and we're receiving it into this particular warehouse. So I'll click here to select an item. If I click here, let me just highlight it here. And if you had enabled the use of barcode and the barcode has been uploaded for that product, you can click here and scan the barcode on the item and it will read it and it will appear here automatically for you. But if you don't have barcode option enabled, you can click here to select the item manually. So I click and system wants to know, it has shown me the unit cost price. It wants to know the quantity that came in. I can let the system know the quantity that came in, that is in pieces or dozen or carton. So let me change it to carton. You see, it has given me the carton price, and I'll let the system know, okay, we brought in 10 cartons. So here, sorry, we'll do that in the quantity field, not in the note field. Quantity. This note is just for additional information. So it has calculated what the amount should be for us automatically. You see? And you can go ahead and add different other items that were supplied by this supplier. Okay. And when you're just starting, let's assume you're already running your business before you started, you got on ERPRev. You can use this option to bring in the stock that you have. You know, your opening stock, the opening stock for the day or for the period that you want to start using ERPRev. You can bring it in and use this anonymous supplier. Okay, so you can go ahead and select other items. And if you can also click here, there's an option to add product directly from here. You see, I can register a new product, select the category and submit, then go ahead and add the quantity and all of that. All right. If you're restocking and the cost price has changed, you can click here directly to change the cost price. But whenever you do that, always remember to check this box so that it will be updated for you. Now, system gives you the option to select to specify if the supplier was paid. You can check this box to specify if the supplier was paid or not. If I check this box, I want to know how much was paid to this supplier, and if I specify the amount that was paid to this supplier, let's assume we paid part of the money. System would want to know, was it the mode of payment? Was it cash? Was it bank transfer? Was it check? But in this demonstration would assume we did not pay. Maybe you're paying later. And if you're paying later, all you need to do is to write a payment voucher for that supplier. And how do you write payment voucher? Under finance, you'd see payment voucher, and you write payment voucher for the supplier. You select the supplier and all. There are some people who paid supplier before they are supplied. So you write payment voucher. When the items come, you just register stock intake. Later, then you can do register stock intake and write payment voucher afterwards once you make the payment to the supplier. Now I'm going to go ahead down and submit. System will prompt me that about to execute a stock transaction of amount this from supplier ID 1. Should I continue? I say yes. So now at this point, this item, this particular product, 10 cartons have been added into our inventory. So I would want us to go ahead and just view our stock inventory right now. Under product inventory, product stock, I'll click on view stock. Here, I'm going to fetch data. Let's just specify the exact warehouse and fetch data. You see, now I fetch data, and the system has shown me that we have 1,200 pieces, which is equal to 10 cartons. All right. And you can see the selling price, you can see the cost price, you can see the stock value. Now, if you want a situation whereby you want to add wholesale, you want to add the wholesale price, or you want to do product variation and all, we have tutorial video that shows you how to do that in the help center. At the end, before the end of this video, I'll show you how you can get across to the help center and search for whatever you want. Now we can also see the total quantity we have in stock. We can see the stock value. We can see the estimated sales value. And you can aggregate this information using any of these parameters. All right. But you see, under category, we can see that it's a shoe. See? And you see the stock value, you see the sales value. Now, I'd want us to just go ahead and sell to a customer, like write an invoice. So this time around, we go to sales, then we go to invoice, and we click on write invoice. If you call in the organization, if you call it bill, you can change this label from invoice to bill. Okay. Now, here we can do a couple of things. So I'll just point them out. Here you can select the customer that you want to sell to, and if the customer is a new customer, from here to you can add the new customer. Then you can select the warehouse you want to sell to. However, you cannot stay in office location 1 and sell in office location 2. You need to switch into that office location. The same thing applies to when you want to do stock intake. You can't stay in office location 1 and register stock intake into a different office location. You need to switch into that office location. Okay, but I'll show you how to do that shortly. Here, this is where you click to select the item you want to sell. This is where you enter the quantity and the price would appear. And it is possible to give discount on total invoice amount. It's possible to give discount on a specific product. And it's also possible to set this discount ahead as a super admin, so that maybe once it falls within that day and that time frame, the discount would apply. Or you could even say XYZ quantity and above, maybe 10 pieces and above, should get a discount. And anyone who is buying below shouldn't get a discount. You could even say, okay, you can create different categories. Let's say teachers, students, um, different categories, so that if you select a particular category, a certain amount of discount would apply. There are different options, but I'm just going to show you the simple way of just writing an invoice. And if you use barcode scanner, you've enabled that option, you can just click here. Make sure you click your cursor here and scan the item, and it will pop up here. All you just need to do is to input the quantity, right? So I'll go ahead and clear this. I'll click on customer ID. See, it gives me the option to search for customer by name, by customer ID, address, email, mobile number, and all. So let me just search for, remember I told you that customer with ID1 is a walk-in customer. So if I say put type 1 here and fetch data, it will bring out that customer. You should only use this walk-in only for people who refuses to give you their contact information. That is the only time you use walk-in customer. And you should only register a customer once. Don't register one customer more than once. Each customer should only have one ledger. Okay. So if I click here, and there's a way to restrict that. If you tell the system that mobile number should be unique, or email should be unique, anybody they try to register and it has the same mobile number, system would refuse to do that. So we can go ahead and sell to this person. But if it's a new customer we want to register, we can click on this add new customer, and the system would give us a quick form to fill. You can still add some additional fields to this place. And there's a tutorial video that shows how to do that, or you can contact an expert to help you. Okay, so let me just cancel and use walk-in customer. I can put any note here. Let's say I thought the same that is this on demonstration. Okay, then it's possible to backdate transactions if the user writing the invoice has the privilege to do so. It's even possible to prompt the system that everybody who wants to sell to a customer on credit, the transaction, the invoice should not go through successfully until it has been approved by someone else. But I'll just go ahead and click, select the item manually, let the system know that, okay, I can tell the system the code, whether we bought in pieces or dozen or carton. So in this case, let's assume that a customer is buying just 1 dozen. So I tell the system, okay, this person is buying 1 dozen, which is 12 pieces. System has calculated how much this person is supposed to pay. Here, I could also do it in pieces. If I change it to pieces, you see, it has changed to the pieces price. If I switch to dozen, it has given me the dozen price. It's also possible for you to set the price that, if somebody buys 12 and above, the unit price should change. That is possible, and there's a tutorial video that shows how you can enable that. All right, so at this point, system has calculated that this is the amount the customer is supposed to pay. Since it's tax inclusive, and this 7.5%, this is what the tax comes up to, and the total. It's showing this because it's inclusive. If it was exclusive, it will add 76,050 naira to this figure, and it will appear in the total field. This field where you see amount paid is where you input the amount that the customer paid, at the point of purchasing this item. It is possible for the customer to pay more than the total amount, and the remaining balance will be added to his account so that he can use it for subsequent purchases. It's also possible, maybe for those that run supermarkets, eateries, pharmacies, and the rest, where they pay and you give them the balance as change. You can also configure that in the system. Okay, so the next thing is amount paid. You input the amount. Let's assume this customer paid the complete amount. Or let's assume the customer paid just 1 million. Okay, meaning person will still be owing. Or let's even make it 500,000. Make it 514,000. So the customer will be owing 500,000. System wants to know, how did this person pay? Was it cash? Was it to bank? Or was it a split payment? So I'm going to use split option because the cash and bank will be demonstrated inside the split. So split is if the customer is giving you, let's say the customer is paying 14,000 cash and is also giving you, say, 300,000 via bank transfer. Select the payment type, is a transfer. Then I'll select it was paid today. If it was yesterday, you select the date of the actual date the money, was paid to the bank account. Then I'm going to select payment 3 and impute 200,000. Let's assume this one. It's possible that the person paid into a different bank account, and you can register bank account under finance. You see the option to register bank account. There's also a tutorial video that shows you the right way of registering bank accounts. So let's select this and go ahead and select the payment type. Let's assume this one was POS and it was paid today. If it's a credit transaction, in this case where the person is not paying everything, you can use this payment due date to specify the date that the person has agreed to come and pay the balance. Now, it's possible to add some additional fields here. Maybe you're running a laundry and you want to put pickup dates, or is it fashion? You make bespoke outfits. You want to select the date that the item will be ready, or you want to specify the delivery method that the customer preferred, or the delivery company that the item was given to, and all of that. Those additional fields can be added here. There's a tutorial video that shows you how you can add additional entities. Okay, so let me clear this. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and click on Submit. System would prompt me that is about to execute invoice transaction of amount this for customer ID 1. Should I continue? I say yes. At this point, the system has raised an invoice. It will give me an option to print. I can go ahead and print, or I can go ahead to cancel. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the invoice for print again. Let me maximize. Here, this is the common printout. It's possible to have different look and feel of this printout. And you can see that here it shows the customer name, address. If the mobile number was provided, you see the mobile number here, and you can see the current balance as well. And this current balance is, for it to appear here, is optional. And if you in your organization you don't want customers' detail to appear at all, you don't want customers' detail to appear at all, like all this information, it's possible not to allow it. Okay, but here if you look at it, you see the item, you see the quantity that was purchased, you see the price, you can see that quantity is 12. This is the VAT, this is the total, this is the amount that was paid. Mode was mixed, as different payment option. This is the amount in words. Then you can see the invoice ID, the date of the transaction, that's the timestamp, the user that generated this transaction, then the payment due date. There's an option to print, an option to share, maybe via WhatsApp and all. You can save as PDF. You can email this click here to email the transaction. You can copy the URL and share it with the customer, so that if the person clicks on that URL, it will open this transaction up. Then there's option for you to change the layout that you prefer. Okay, let's go ahead and change to a different layout. But before I do that, you see there's an option here to print waybill, and there's an option here to register return inwards. And every time you view this invoice, you have the option of printing waybill or registering return inward. But if the user that is writing the invoice does not have privilege to print waybill or register return inwards, then this option won't even appear. All right, so I'll click here and switch. But before I do that, you can see it shows prepared by, prepared for, and all of that. If I print, this will not appear in the printout. This note is just for administrative purpose. Then where you have thanks for your patronage, this place, you can write anything here. You can put terms and conditions, you can put a bank account, and you can specify the items purchased in good condition cannot be refunded or exchange and all of that. Anything. You can change all of that. There's a tutorial video that shows how to do that. Then here, I'll click on this common layout you see here and switch to POS layout. It will change. This is the layout that people who use thermal printers, this is the layout they use, like supermarket, eateries, pharmacies, and all. POS layout 2 is another way. Okay. And if you don't want this prepared by and prepared for to appear, it's possible to, to hide it. Okay. Now that we have sold, and let's go ahead and view customers. If you view customers and fetch data, you can see that this particular customer is owing 500,000. Now, I would strongly advise that you don't sell on credit to a working customer. Anybody you're selling on credit to should have a name, should have a contact information and all. And it's also possible for you to specify that credit invoices must be authorized by, if it's your staff that is doing it, a senior person will have to authorize it before it will go through successfully. Now, we can also go to sales, invoice, and so how did I get there? Sales, invoice. Here, we can view invoices. When we view invoices, I can select the particular location, date written, and all of that. I can search invoice for a particular customer. I can check for invoice that have been fully paid, partly paid, or pending, and all. Then I'll go ahead and fetch. This 2000 here shows that I want system to bring a maximum of 2000 records. If I want system to load more than 2000 records, I can specify the number of records I want system to return for me whenever I click on fetch data. And I can also export the records using any of these formats. Okay, but let me just go ahead and fetch data. We have just one invoice here. You can see the invoice ID. Here, you see the invoice ID. There's option to print. There's an option to edit. There's an option to delete. Now, this edit, print, delete icon would only appear in a user account who has the privilege to do so. So if you've not given your staff the privilege to delete or edit or even print, they won't see these icons. Then you can see the date time, the transaction occurred. This is the time the transaction was written. This is the note that we imputed. And you can see the customer that purchased the item, the total, the VAT, total and VAT. This is because this is the same with this because it's VAT inclusive. And here you can see the amount that was paid, and system is giving us an option to attach a receipt. So let's assume the customer has come to pay the balance 500,000. We can click here to write a receipt if the person is paying the 500,000 completely. But if the person is not paying the 500,000 completely, then you can go to sales. Then this time around, that's sales, receipts. Then you write receipts, select the cost, and input the amount the person is paying. Let's assume the person has come to pay. Person has come to pay. Let's the person pay the remaining 500,000. You can put the narration here. Then you can go ahead and specify the mode of payment. Let's assume the person paid cash. I'll select cash. Then you see here, system is telling that you may optionally attach this receipt to an unpaid invoice. The moment you select the customer ID that you want to write the payment receipt for, the system would check the record and bring out all the invoices associated to that customer that the person either made part payment or did not pay at all. In this particular invoice with ID1, you can see the invoice amount, you can see the amount paid, you can see the balance to pay. So let's say know that we're about to write a receipt for this invoice with ID1. So this invoice ID here, I'm putting it here. Now I'll go ahead and submit. Now we have a receipt this time, the tune of 500, and the payment mode is cash. I'm going to go ahead and close this. You may be wondering, okay, why is this still showing attached receipt when the person has paid? That's because we need to go back to search box and fetch data, so to bring out the latest information from the server. Now you see the option to write receipt is no longer there. But assuming the person bought the item on credit, if this person bought this item on credit, when the person comes to pay, you would see two options, right? Let me just quickly write another invoice to demonstrate it clearly. Let's assume the same customer is buying 5 pieces of this item, or let's even make it 8 pieces of this item. System has calculated, and let's assume the person did not make any payments and has planned to come and pay today. Or submit. Now, if we go back and view invoices, you'd see here, like before, where it said attach receipts because the person has already made some part payment. Here it's giving you two options. The first one is write receipt. The second one is mark paid. There are two different things. This write receipt is if the person is coming to pay the monies completely. In this case, the person is coming to pay this amount fully. That's when you click on this write receipt. But let's assume this person has already made payment before and a payment receipt was raised for the person. If the person now comes to buy an item and wants to use the money he or she paid earlier, that's when you click on this option that says mark paid. Here, system will want you to just specify the receipt ID that should be associated to this invoice. Okay, but for the purpose of this example, I'm going to use this one. Let's assume the person has come to pay fully, not parts. So I'll just click on write receipt, and see it has shown the amount to pay. Let me tell you that, okay, this person paid to bank. Outside, it will give me options to specify the bank. You can register more than one bank account. Let's assume the payment type this time was deposit, and I can go ahead and submit. Remember that the date of transaction must be the exact date that the money hit the bank account. So I'll go ahead and write the receipt. So the receipt has been written. If we go back and view our invoices, you'd see that we have this. All right, but you might be wondering, I can't see the item that the customer bought. You can click on this print icon to see it. However, you can still go to view sold products, fetch data, and you see the items there. You can also go to view sold products with profit on sale if you have the privilege to do so. It will show you the item, it will show you the unit sold price, to show you the cost price, to show you the profit margin, and all of that. Okay, and you can categorize this by category. So it shows this and all of that. Okay, here now let's go ahead now and view our stock. Let's go and view our stock. Or before we view our stock, let's even still look at under this sales side. Let's look at receipts and look at payment by payment method. So it shows me the value of cash, bank POS, bank transfer, bank deposit, and the total. I can go ahead and tell the system to show me the transactions, as in the show transaction entries. Here to show every single item and how the payment came in, and it will show the total. All right. Remember, this can be printed. You can save as plain text, JSON, CSV, HTML, PDF. Okay. To close this, the next thing I want us to do now is to go and view our stock. Let's see if all these items you are selling, system is deducting it. Product stock, view stock. Okay, fetch data. Let's select the warehouse and fetch data. You see now we have 1,180 pieces remaining, which is 9 carton and 100 pieces. Okay, for this particular item. And this is the current stock value and the estimated sales value. If I click on this icon here, this one, where I want to see the stock card history, I can scroll down and click on get details wide. It will show me the opening balance, which is 120. We did stock intake of 120 from supplier called Unanimous. We sold 12 pieces to walk-in customer. The balance was now 1,188. We sold another 8 pieces, and the balance is now 1,180. You see the total in, total out, balance carried down. All right. Now, the different other information here you may want to look at. Then here you can see that there are other icons here. This one allows us to transfer stock from another warehouse. This one allows us to return inward back to supplier. This one allows us to move items to bin, assuming an item is bad and we need to move it to bin. This icon allows us to do stock adjustments. Let's say you do a stock count and you need to adjust your stock. You can do all of that. You can click here to change your price, your selling price. You can click here to change your cost price. So basically, that's how to set up your account and quickly sell. If you want to know more, like how to register expenses, or how to register warehouses, or how to register departments, or how to register staff, or how to create users, you can simply just use engage the robot. And how do you do that? If you click here, you click here, it will give you an option. So I can tell the system, I can chat with the robot here. We have an AI assistant that allows you, that helps you answer questions by recommending video or giving you text and links and all of that. So I can tell the system now, like, okay, how to register warehouse. If you do that, you just click here. And if it's an error message you want to show, you can attach the image here. But if you're doing anything that has to do with image, I prefer you chat with an agent or you open up a support ticket. But let's use the robot to quickly just recommend videos. How to register warehouse. If I click here, so you see, go through this article or video, how to register warehouse. If you click on it, it would open up the option that shows you how to register how to register a warehouse. So if I click on this, so you see, it shows you how to register a warehouse. I don't know what happened, but let's go back in. How to register a warehouse. I'll click here. I'll go back to the application. Now I can tell the system how to register expenses. And I go, so it shows you a video that you can watch, balances, right? And you can play this video and it will show you how to register expenses. So you can ask different questions. Then I can click here to chat with a live agent. If any of our agents are available, you can chat with them. If you have any error message or you need clarity, you can do a snapshot of what you want clarity with, highlight it, and click here to share. There's an attach button here. Let me show you. Sorry, what did I do? Let me go back to that place. There's attach button here. Here, you can attach the file and you can click here to chat with an agent, or you can click here to open a support ticket. However, if you just want to go directly to the help center where we have different tutorial videos, I'll show you as well. All you need to do is to go to the help stroke support. You see help stroke support here. Click here and it will give you option. You can click on help stroke knowledge base. It will take you straight to the help center. And in the exact same way that the software is arranged, the same way the software is arranged, like administration, finance, procurement, product inventory, raw material inventory, services, and all, you will see the different videos. So for example, if I go to administration, you see staff. If I click on staff, it will show you how to register staff, how to view stroke edit staff, how to disable stroke delete staff. Okay, if I go back to administration and I click on users, you also see how to register users, right? How to uh, view system users and all of that. Okay, there's predefined privileges here. Anything you're looking for, there's a tutorial video. You can click here to search for the video that you're looking for. Then if you go to the download page, under pages, if you go to the download page, you'd see the option to download the ERPRev desktop browser. If you don't want to use Safari, Google Chrome, Firefox, and all, you can use the ERPRev desktop browser for your system, especially for people that want to use display poll, or you're in an organization where you don't want your staff to have access to browse other things on the website. You just want them to be able to use their browser for ERPRev alone. Then you need to download this ERPRev desktop browser. If you're on Android device, you can download the ERPRev Android client by clicking on download here. Then if you want to link your ERPRev software to your e-commerce website that is designed with WordPress and uses WooCommerce shopping cart, then you can download the ERPRev WooCommerce plugin here. Okay, so um, that's the brief description of how to use the ERPRev software. I'll go, let me show you something else. Then in terms of other configuration, if you go to administration, general configuration, you'd see manage currency rate, edit general company preference, edit specific preferences, and you have different tabs with different things. For example, this is where you change. You can add maybe bank account, specify the items are not returnable, and all of that. You can configure your email, SMS, reversal period, a lot of things under sales, like wholesale price switching that I talked about. For example, this is the option that talks about wholesale price switching. And there are tutorial videos that show you how to do all of this. Okay. However, if you prefer the option where someone, an expert who knows how to use the system end to end, would come in and train you either online or on site, that service is available, but you would pay directly to the experts after the person is account, training your system users and all. It's also good to know that the fastest way of getting trained is online, right? And you can choose your own preferred online training platform and request that the service, the video be recorded as it's going on, as the training is going on, so that the expert will make it available to you, so that in the organization, if a staff that was trained leaves, without notice and all, or without training someone else, you can give the new staff these videos to watch and the person will come up to speed. And that expert will also provide after sales support for 30 days after the training. And if you have more than two users that requires training, the expert will create a forum, maybe on any of the social media platform that you prefer, where every system user will post questions or anything that they need clarity with. They will post it there and the expert will respond. All right. And uh, you pay the expert directly for the service. And if you want to link your website, you have multiple outlets, you want to mass import your products, or you want to buy hardware and all, the expert can help you with all of that. So the question would be, okay, so how can I request for an expert? In the welcome email that we sent to you, you would see a link in that welcome email where you can click to request for the service of an ERPRev expert. But if you can't locate the email easily, just go to log into your account, go to administration, go to software license, click on license details, and you see the option to renew your current subscription, add more system users, or request an expert for training stroke onboarding. Okay, so that's how much it will take in this particular introductory video. But bear in mind that there's so much that the ERPRev can do, but this is just a sneak peek that allows you, jump starts, use your system without any delay. Thank you.